Hi there, I'm Taylor Vento from Bags by Vento, and today we'll be making my Peppermint Pillow pattern. It's perfect for holiday decor, or you can use a neutral color year-round. Grab your supplies and let's dive in. I'll include links to all the supplies that I'm using today in the description below. I'm using Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. This color is Red Beacon. It is a super bulky weight, so you could substitute with another yarn. I'm using a 9mm crochet hook or an M13. Optional, you can use 4 stitch markers so you can better see your corners. If you are newer to crochet, I would highly recommend that you use stitch markers. You could also use safety pins or bobby pins if you don't have stitch markers on hand. And lastly, I will need a pillow insert. This is an 18 by 18 throw pillow insert. I just grabbed an old pillow off my couch that I want to recover. You can also buy pillow inserts from your local craft store. Let's get going. I highly recommend checking out the written pattern for this pillow. That way you don't have to keep rewinding back and forth for the stitch counts for each row. You can find that link in the description below. To get started, you can either do a magic circle or a chain 3 slip stitching the ends together to create a circle. If you don't know how to do magic circle, I will link a tutorial up above, but today I'm going to use the simpler method and start with a slip stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch the ends of my chain together to make a circle. Chain 3, and the chain always counts as the first stitch in this pattern. I'll do double crochet into the middle of the circle, double crochet, and this is what I'll refer to as a cluster. It's 3 double crochets together. Similar to a granny square, we'll be working in clusters today. So there's cluster 1, chain 1, which is going to be our corner. So I'll grab a stitch marker and put it in my chain 1 and do another cluster. So this time it'll be 3 double crochets because I don't have a chain to begin with. So 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, grab a stitch marker, and do another cluster. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, grab a stitch marker, and we're going to do this one last time. So there should be 4 clusters total. And we'll chain 1 for the last corner. Grab our stitch marker. I'm going to give my tail here a little tug to close up that center of my circle a bit. And now I'm going to join the round by doing a slip stitch in the top of my chain 3. And that is the end of round 1. For round 2, we'll begin with a chain 3. This counts as the first stitch. And we'll be doing a double crochet in the top of the next 2 double crochets. So we'll find the top of this one, and that's 1. And then in the next one, 2. So including that chain, you should have 1, 2, and 3 stitches in the top of the 3 double crochets from the previous row. Now we've made it to our corner here, so we can remove our stitch marker. and we will place 2 double crochets in this chain space. Not in the chain, but in the space. Chain 1 to create a new corner, and put your stitch marker back. Push these over just a little bit, give yourself some space, and do 2 more double crochets in the same chain space. So there should be 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Now you're going to need to push these over a little bit so that you can see the top of the next 3 double crochets. So the next one is right here next to that last corner double crochet. There should be 1, 2, and 3 double crochets on this side, and each side to the end of this round. We've made it to the next corner, and we're going to do that again. So remove my stitch marker, 2 double crochet, chain 1 for a new corner, put my stitch marker back, 2 double crochet. Push my stitches over so I can find the top of the next double crochet stitch, and I'm going to repeat this process 2 more times until I get to the end of the round. I will meet you there. At the end of round 2, I have just finished the last corner, and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join, and I should have 4 corners with stitch markers in them, and there should be 7 double crochets on each side of my square. To begin round 3, chain 3, double crochet in each double crochet stitch from the previous row to the corner. So there should be 4 for this first side. And we're starting in the middle of this first row. There are more stitches we need to complete. I'm going to take out my stitch marker, and this is where we'll do our corner again the same way. So it'll be 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And don't forget to put your stitch marker back in there. There we go. Now for this side and each side after, you're going to have 7 double crochet across until you get to the corner. So the next repeat will be 7 double crochet, then your corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 7 double crochet, then your corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1. You'll do this all the way around, and I will meet you there. I've just finished my 4th corner, but I still have a few more stitches to complete before I can close this round. So I'm going to push these stitches over and double crochet into the next stitch. There should be 2 stitches before you finish this row. And remember that the chain 3 counts as a stitch, so the base of the chain 3 does not need a stitch in it. You can count your stitches just to double check the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches on each side. And then slip stitch into the top of your chain 3 to join. And that is your round 3. We're going to keep repeating our pattern. Chain 3, double crochet to the corner. Remove your stitch marker. 2 double crochet, chain 1, replace your stitch marker, 2 double crochet, and now we will have 11 double crochet between each corner for the rest of this round. So you'll repeat this 11 double crochet corner, 11 double crochet corner 3 times, and then I'll meet you at the end to close. Quick pause to see how you're doing. If you're having trouble with the corners, you could do chain 2 to make it a little easier to see your chain space. Make sure that you are pushing those stitches over so that you can find the top of that first double crochet. So in the corner, that first stitch looks like this. You can look at it from the top to see those V's. But I've seen a lot of people accidentally skip that first stitch because it's covered up by their corner stitches. So keep an eye on that. I've done my 4th corner of round 4, and I should have 4 double crochet stitches in order to complete my last side. I would highly recommend that you count your stitches for each side as you go so that you don't get confused on the following round if you missed a stitch by accident. If you just count them as you go, it will save you a lot of headache. There we go. There should be 15 double crochets on each side of my square now. Let's go on to round 5. For this first side to the corner, I should have 8 stitches before I reach my corner piece. So go ahead and do those 8 stitches in your corner and I'll meet you there. I finished my first corner, and from here on out, there should be 13 double crochets between each corner and 19 double crochets total for each side. I finished my 4th corner, and to complete the remaining side, I need to do 8 double crochets. So let's go ahead and complete this last side. There should be 19 double crochets on each side of my square. And then we'll move on to round 6. Be careful right here at the end. A lot of people accidentally add a stitch here. You want to make sure your last stitch is right next to the base of your chain 3. So don't accidentally add a stitch right here where your chain 3 is. For round 6, we'll begin with our chain 3, and then you'll need to double crochet 11 before you meet the first corner. Once you get to that first corner, I'll meet you there. I've completed my first corner, and from here on out, there should be 19 double crochets between each corner and 23 stitches total on each side. You'll repeat this 3 times, just like we have been, and then I'll meet you after the 4th corner. I've completed my 4th corner, and to complete the last side, you will need 8 double crochet. Again, there should be 23 stitches on each side of your square at the end of round 6. Round 7 is the last round of the first panel, and to complete the half portion of the first side, you'll need 12 double crochet to get to your first corner. So do your 12 double crochet and your first corner, and I'll meet you there. I've completed the first corner, and from now on, there should be 23 double crochets between each corner and 27 double crochets on each side once round 7 is completed. I'll meet you after the 4th corner, and we will close the round. I've just finished the 4th corner, and there should be 10 double crochet stitches to finish this last side. So again, there should be 27 double crochets on each side of my square. This is going to be the last round, And then we're going to repeat rounds 1 through 7 to create the second panel. On the second panel, do not tie off. On the first, we are going to go ahead and tie off. I sometimes see that the squares are a little bit wavy or wonky. It can be really helpful to give them a good stretch. Stretch them from each of the corners. Or you can damp block them, spray them lightly with water or fabric softener, and pin them down to a foam board. Blocking them can give them a little bit more of a professional touch, but once you add your pillow insert, it will stretch it out to the right size. To connect my two panels, I'm going to place my first panel, the one that I tied off, face down, and then take my panel that is still attached with my yarn and hook and place it right on top, lining up the stitches. Your hook should be at the top. So the right sides are facing out and the wrong sides are facing in. To create the opening in the pillow, we are only going to crochet in the top panel until we get to this corner. We'll start with a chain 1, which counts as the first stitch, and then we'll single crochet 14 to this corner. So in the top of each double crochet to the corner. I've done my last single crochet until I've met my corner. I've removed my stitch marker, I won't need it anymore. And I'm gonna do my corners the same way I was doing previously, but this time with single crochet, and it will go through the front panel and the back panel. So I'll take my hook and put it through the front panel and the back panel corner spaces. Pull up a loop, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Your corner should look something like this. Now for each side, you will need 27 single crochets between each corner, 31 single crochets on each side. So I'm gonna do the next 3 sides and I'll meet you at the 4th corner and show you how to do the top. As I'm single crocheting my 2 sides together, I'm just double checking that I'm going through both stitches and doing 1 single crochet stitch in each of the corresponding spaces. I finished my 4th corner, and now I'm going to go back to only crocheting in the top panel, and I'll do the remaining 12 single crochets to finish off this round. Now you have a few options for the closure. You can just sew the top of your pillow together, which is what I've done, or you can use buttons. Some people prefer a zipper closure. I actually have a tutorial for a no-sew crochet zipper. I will link that above. On my last one here, I'm going to slip stitch into my chain 1 that I started with, and I should have a nice little opening here for my pillow. And I'm going to snip off, and I'll leave a 12-inch tail to sew up the top of my pillow. But if you prefer to use buttons or zippers, feel free. I've inserted my pillow and sewed it shut, and now I'm ready to do the tassels. You'll start with a 12-inch piece of yarn, fold it in half to where it has a loop on one end and your ends on the other. I'm going to go behind and put my loop through that chain 1 corner space, put my tails through that loop and pull. Then I will do 1 knot to secure it. And this is where I'll place my tassel in just a few minutes. To make your tassels, it's helpful to have something like a notebook. You could use something approximately the size that whatever you have on hand. And I'm gonna wrap it around this notebook about 10 times. I'm gonna make sure that my yarn ends at the same spot where my tail begins, and cut my yarn. And I'm gonna try to remove this yarn in one piece. So like that. Then I'm gonna grab my pillow where I have my ties attached, and I'm gonna place my ties in the center of my loops and tie a double knot. It doesn't have to be exact because we're going to trim the ends anyway, just as close as you can, and it should look like this. I'm going to snip off another 12-inch piece of yarn, and I'm going to pull my loops down and hold it with my left hand, and then grab my yarn here to wrap it around. And I leave a tail on each end of this to secure with a sewing needle. You could also knot it, but sometimes the knots come undone. And then I'll take a sewing needle and I will secure both ends of my yarn here, trim off the ends of my tassel to the length that I prefer, and I'll be all done. And there you have it. Way to go. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials and free patterns. I hope you enjoyed making this holiday pillow with me. Until next time, happy crocheting.